What is going on, guys? It is Tony from Lomo Paintball, and today you guys wanted to know, is paintball expensive?
And why did they ask us? Because who's the best source for paintball?
LomoPaintball.com.
You already know. Let's dive right on into this video, Mark. Head on over to pbswagbag.com. Use our code LWP10 to save 10% off your first monthly subscription.
And that's not expensive, so.
That is not expensive. All right, so we're diving on in. This is a very searched term. A lot of people do want to know, is it expensive? Yes and no. So no, as in the fact of if you wanted to get a rental gun and go to the field, it might cost you about 50 bucks a day. If you wanted to actually get yourself a beginner gun package, you're definitely talking under $250 all day long, including a gun, including a thermal goggle. You got a tank and your standard gravity-fed hopper.
All right, so let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
So I have no gear, and I'm just gonna go rent at a field. You said roughly 50 bucks. Let's break that down. So paint, gameplay, air, equipment to rent. How does that break down?
Yeah, pretty much roughly 50 bucks. You're gonna show up to any field, 35, 40. You're gonna get probably a rental gun included, maybe a couple hundred rounds of paint. Some fields do have an extra charge for their all-day air. So minimum expecting to start off, you're gonna spend 50 bucks at your local field, getting a rental gun and some paint.
That sounds pretty expensive to me.
Okay, so, well, yeah, $50 may be expensive to some, but for a good day of play, you went to see a football game or a baseball game, you bought a hot dog and some snacks. You're pretty much already at 50 bucks. Entertainment cost, I mean, really, they've gone up. So if you want to go out and have a couple hours of good fun, even going to an arcade or something, you're probably going to spend probably about 50 bucks. So if you want to have a good day of fun, renting stuff in paintball, it's going to cost you minimum that. Plus, once you're out there and you're shooting more paint, you're going to have to buy more paint. So you want to have a good day of fun, Mark? What do you think? Realistically, a rental. Having a good time, buying more paint?
Yeah, I mean, between 50 and then once I get hooked, it's probably about 100 bucks. I don't think I've ever spent more than 100 with a case of paint or two. I have a hard time shooting a full case by myself, especially with a rental gun. For
sure.
So it lasts, you bring it back.
And then obviously if you had an electronic gun, it's way more money and way more paint being shot.
But so that's the point, right? So if I rent and it's 50 bucks every time I go, that starts to add up. So then now I want my own gear because I pay how much for this package?
So then you step up to, this is the currently the HK Army Saber package. It's on the website. It's 220 bucks. Comes with a nice beginner gun, dual ball detents, feed neck, easy clean bolt, the whole shebang-a-bang. It's got a nice thermal goggle, dual pane thermal lens that is not gonna fog up on you. It's got an actual 48 3K nitro tank included, which this tank can be used on a beginner marker or even any other higher end marker since it's not CO2, not gonna mess up the electronics or solenoid. And then lastly, you've got a standard gravity fed hopper, holds 200 rounds. 220 bucks, you've got your set. It's gonna last you a very long time as long as you maintain it.
So now I don't have to rent any of that at the field.
Correct.
So that saves me between 10 to 20 bucks a trip.
All you gotta worry about is paint and if your field does have an all day air fee or something like that. So where I'm going with this is, Mark, is a kid wants a new phone, a new iPad, something like that. It's easily going to cost you 220 bucks minimum. So if you really like the sport of paintball, why don't you go out and buy yourself your own equipment that you don't have to worry about, you know, it doesn't get left at the field. Yeah, you got to clean it, you got to maintenance it. But then the biggest thing for me, you got your own goggle. You're not renting a goggle that someone else has sweated in, and it's a nice thermal goggle. So 220 bucks, I'd say. Some people, oh man, that's expensive, but any other sport, I mean, your golf, your football, your hockey, you're gonna spend that money on padding and helmets and a stick or a bat or whatever it may be. But
and because you, like I said, you're not spending the money on renting it, it's gonna pay for itself in 10 trips, roughly.
Yeah, oh no, for sure. I mean, the only thing you gotta show up is worry about your paint and your air cost, if there is one for that. But on the other side, Mark, so we're kind of talking that it's not too expensive, correct?
Well, we're talking the low end now, but I have a feeling you can make it as expensive as you want.
So hold up here. So then, once you get hooked on the sport, and then you move into the realm of tournament paintball, speedball, whatever you guys want to call it, you can get guns that are $1,500, $200 to $300 tanks, $200 hoppers. Like, you can spend a lot of money on paintball, but you don't have to. That's the biggest thing I'm here to tell you. You guys can have fun without spending a ton of money. And the best thing is here also, if you've got a friend that has multiple setups, just go and use theirs. That's what I would recommend. If you don't have $1,000 to drop on a nice fancy tournament setup or a mid-grade setup, find a friend that does. He might lend it to you and end up selling it to you for cheap. Who knows? But you guys wanted to know, is this sport expensive? Yes and no. So if you get your own gear and you stick with it, and this is just going out and having recreational fun, it's going to be fairly cheap. If you guys want to get into the tournament scene, it's not going to be fairly cheap. Mark, anything else to say?
Stay tuned, because either it might already be out or it's coming soon. Ooh. We did a video covering price point packages, gun, mask, hopper, tank, for all budgets. So from super low end beginner to the super high end. So go check that out so you can see what a price point for what you might want it would cost. If you want your own beginner startup though, don't forget, check out the HK Army Saber package on the website. $220. It's going to be yours forever. Shop LoneWolfPaintball.com and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.